that Ryan and I were trying to be the same coach, which isn't going to mesh well. And then we needed to figure out that balance instead of stepping forward and being like, hey, like this is what I want to be doing. This is what I think you should be doing, or just even talk to each other about what our strengths are. So we've kind of shifted our coaching dynamics. How that coaching dynamics going to change and work is I'm going to be a little bit more front facing. Seeing as I
So
was a
they're
former pro, I feel like that's an advantage.
Changing
Dan's
their-
head coach.
Sometimes to the respect level from your players. They kind of look at me to get the team playing at a high level, playing consistently, making sure our floor is really high. That's going to be kind of my focus is in the respawn modes because that's where I excel at.
So for myself, I've always excelled and thrived in being creative, coming up with
All right,
strats
Tupac.
and focusing on game plan when it came to counter stratting and focusing on our own strats as well. And I think I definitely lacked a lot in the S&D department, trying to focus way too much on respawn and helping get the team together. It just felt like there was a lot of instances where I was stepping out of my comfort zone way too much to try and be like one of those sports coaches that you see in the movies with the inspirational
Ted Lasso.
speeches, trying to get
Sure.
everyone back in line because obviously there was some team issues throughout the stage, and I feel like I was getting way too uncomfortable.
So
trying
what
to
is
be
this
something that I
video?
wasn't.
So
I'm
not
confused.
only are we going to be making
Let's
a
listen
coaching
up.
dynamic change,
I know,
as we
I'm
just
just-
talked about, we'll also be making a team change. We're going to bring in Fame for attach going into our home series. We trialed him for on both roles because he ran a flex for us on Rocker Academy just to see where his comfort is at the pro level. And after seeing both roles, he looked a lot more comfortable on the AR. The pro level, the pacing's obviously different. The teamwork's different. It's not. It's a lot slower pace. So I think the AR fit him best, and then that's why we made that move.
To speak more on Kev, he's a player that I've been really high on for over a year now, especially watching him back in the CCL. He's an incredible player with a really good mind for the game, which is why I was really interested in bringing him on the rocker at the tail end of the Vanguard season. Kev really excels in both roles, and he's just very inflexible and a sponge as a player where if you feed him information, he's going to take that in and implement it into his gameplay. And with this team, what the players and the coaches really felt like we were missing is a glue player on our team who's going to be that guy that will block spawns, pick up a lot of hill time, and just do whatever the team needs to win. It felt like there's a lot of instances throughout this year where everyone was trying to do a little bit too much on the map, and I think with Kev, we're going to have a lot more freedom for players like Cam and Marcus to kind of run around the map and do what they want.
So heading into this major, we are in the 8th slot, as everyone knows, have a little bit of a buffer on Vegas.
Wait, pause really quick. Pause really quick.
Okay.
I feel like they just said that Fame's going to come in and allow their other players to do whatever they want, but I feel like Dill was already doing that. Do you agree? I mean, I feel like Dill was doing the same exact fucking thing. Dill looked like he was getting shafted out there with like how he was playing.
I mean, he's their main AR. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. He's literally their main.
He's not going to dictate the game like someone like Afro or Bance or even sometimes Cammy will. Like I will die on the hill that your SMGs, you win and lose by your SMGs, right? When your SMGs are playing well, it's like all is well, and then when they're not, it makes it harder on everybody. But I don't want to sit here and be like, oh my god, Afro and Bance are the sole reason why Rocker weren't playing well.
No,
I'm sure every player played their part in their lack of success this past stage. The one thing, I mean, Fame is probably a quicker player than Dylan. I mean, Dill is inherently a slower AR Slayer type player. He's always been more of a slower Slayer.
Correct.
So I can understand them wanting to add more speed. I wouldn't necessarily agree that this is going to help the other players do whatever they want. I feel like they're just spewing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, listen, this is all just the PR. You know, we need to give them a reason. The team, the players, the coaches, they probably want to switch up the dynamic. They like Fame and challengers. It makes the most sense right now to put him in for Dylan, and that's what it is, right? They're going to sit here and give reasons, and it's just a dynamic switch up.
Yeah, so that's the thing with this move is they probably are going to get better. Immediately going to get better.
Well, hold on. Here's what's kind of shitty for Dylan. Is their first two matches are quote-unquote easier. They're playing LAG, and I believe either London or Florida are their first two matches. So they're making a change, and they're going into Stage 4 with what many would consider, I guess, easier teams to beat than some of like the top 5, top 6 teams.
Yes. So, man, it's so tough. I mean, let's keep watching.
they're trying to catch us. We got to make sure that we're staying competitive throughout this entire stage and throughout the rest of the season. The first step is bringing in fame. We're going to continue to evaluate the team throughout this stage after the home series, and if further change is needed, we will be making it, because again, we want to be competing for championships. We want you fans to have a team that you have to cheer for and is actually making it some deep runs at these events, just kind of like we did at Major 2. That's what we want to get back to. And ultimately, the goal is to make it to champs, obviously, because once you get there, anything can happen. And
Correct.
that's the big one to win.
Okay, yeah. So someone in my chat actually deciphered, I think, the best way. Them saying that this is going to help the other players excel. I think they're pretty much saying that fame is going to bait for our players. Dill was baiting too much. I feel like that was like, yeah, I feel like that
Dill.
makes...
I'm not going to say again. He's more than welcome if he wants to come in. He's in. We're in my Discord. He has it. Pretty sure he has it. Go ahead. Sorry, Zen.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure fame is a quicker player.
He doesn't have it.
But
All right, I'll give it to him.
I'm sure he's a quicker player. But if Dill's joining, he'll give us a little more insight. Not talking Jamie about, I guess, how they're I mean, I heard they were getting Swanton bombed in practice. I mean, I heard they were, even after stage 3 where they couldn't win a series, I heard they were just getting pissed all over in scrims. So
they were getting
a change. Yeah, a change was imminent. It just so happened to be Dill this time around, and I don't know. I kind of. What's good, Dill?
There
What's
he
good?
is, the man of the hour. What's up, kid?
What's good, boys?
What's going
brother.
on, man?
How you guys doing?
Good,
You know
man.
me, man.
I mean,
we lifting tonight or what?
I don't think it's tonight. It's a good night. Only
Oh,
tonight's
sorry.
a good night.
so Dill, let's
What's
talk
up?
about it a little bit. I'll give you the floor for a second. How's this all sitting with you? How are you feeling? Just talk to me.
I knew it was coming. I know for me exactly at the moment, but we were just struggling a lot, and it sounded like, or our chemistry just wasn't all there. You could just tell, like, after maps, sometimes we'd lose, it'd just be quiet. And it was just like, it didn't feel like we were a team at the moment. I
That
don't know
shit's
what happened.
the worst when that is happening. Like when you're
Yeah.
just losing, nobody gives a fuck after the matches or after the maps that you're losing. Dude, that is like the most awkward, weird feeling ever. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's what I was saying. It was just super awkward. And like when it's like that, it's like, are we gonna talk about things? Are we not? Like, how are we gonna improve from this point? And usually when it gets to that point, I feel like it's shocked. Like, it seems like people like gave up in a way. Like the overall unit like gave up if there's no like something being said to work towards improvement. So that was a big thing. I think it was our chemistry got messed up after Major 2 when we choked the phase, and that hurt to get to the grand finals. Then when we came back, our first match of stage 3, we lost round 11 to New York. And if we would have won that, I think it would have kind of like gave us some momentum back and jump started everything. But then we just got slammed our next matches after that, and it felt like we couldn't really do anything right. So
I do remember that round 11 against New York because I remember I was gassing it up so much because it was the rematch of Major 2.
yeah.
Where there were all the travel issues and all that shit. So we were really like invested in that match. And then, yeah, you guys lose round 11. And then it just seems like after that point, it was just, was it doomed from that point on?
The vibes were definitely at an all-time low. And I think looking back on it, you could just tell like that was a really big loss because we really didn't have any close matches after that, except for like, I think we played Vegas, our 4th match of the stage.
Yep.
And we ended up losing that. I think we messed up the second S&D pretty bad. S&D was not good for us this past stage, as you could tell. But
Yeah.
we lost that. But I think
definitely
already at
rough.
that point, it was kind of too far gone in a way. Then we went to the major, got LAT first round, which is always a tough team to play against no matter what, and lost there. And we just weren't clutching up in those situations where we needed to win that one extra rotation, win those couple gunfights, break this hill or hold this hill. We just kept messing up those small little things. And I think that just comes from a lack of trust, chemistry. And after you're on a 5-6 game losing streak, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to be feeling good and the most confident in your own plays, in the team's plays. So the chemistry was just kind of shot.
Yeah, I want to ask about chemistry. So I want to go back to like stage 2 and ask about like the out of game dynamic, because obviously your guys' like in-game confidence kind of fell off the roof when it came to stage 3. So like
Yeah.
stage 2, when you guys had a pretty successful stage in major, were you guys like hanging out after scrims, like getting food? Like, bear with me. Like, were you guys like a team outside of the game?
We definitely stage one. I think it kind of dwindled throughout the year. Stage one, or like the beginning of the year, we definitely were going on walks, going to get dinner, hitting up insomnia cookies way too often weekly.
Yeah.
But after, it kind of like dwindled throughout the season. Stage two, we still kind of did it. It started stopping towards the end of it, and then stage three was just like, nah. But we even had sit downs like, yo, we actually need to start doing stuff together again. We don't know why we stopped hanging out outside the game, and just even if it's just two of us going for a walk or going to get food, like we had conversations, like we brought that up, we were aware of it. But yeah, it definitely did dwindle throughout our time as a team, or as a four.
I mean, I think that's where teams sort of really just lose each other. Is like, it's one thing to be underperforming in game. Like, everybody needs to still keep that same respect level, and like kind of like Thieves, right? Like Thieves and Vanguard, where they were really, really bad, but they stuck it out. They worked through their problems. They weren't weird, like as individuals, right? Like they still hung out. They still went over shit. The problem is when you let like the in-game sort of dictate everything, that's when players like form resentment, and that's when they start playing the blame game behind people's backs. So I think it's I think it goes for every team. Like, it's really important that even through like the struggling periods, like you guys remain like a unit, like a team. Like you guys still need to believe that you guys
CJ,
can
thank you very much for
perform
the
at
Twitch
that
Prime,
level.
brother.
And
Or the
then
attachments.
and yeah, so it just sounds like as the year went on, you guys sort of lost faith in each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's sad to see this. I mean, especially
I was talking to you and you just thanked the Prime, right? Go fuck yourself, asshole.
Yeah, it's all good, baby. But
You were ranting a little too long. Sorry.
it's
I mean, I'm trying to get to the nitty gritty.
yeah,
I
it's
like
And
that.
go fuck yourself. I'll ask any question I deem necessary.
yeah, it's a little sad for me.
I'm not spotting you in the gym. All right, go ahead, Seth. Sorry.
You're chilling. It's a little sad for me because I know that your team had so much upside potential, and for one bad stage to kind of dictate a change, it kind of frustrates me a little bit because I know what this team is capable of, and for the true potential to not. Well, we saw glimpses of it at Major 2, right? You guys ended up getting third.
We
You
had a
guys,
solid run.
yeah, you guys were gross at the Major. I mean, Bance and Afro were having an insane Major. You
Yeah,
guys were
they
all
were going
doing your
crazy.
thing, and you end up losing a Game 5 winners final to FaZe. So that's one of the things that's always kind of been crazy to me about COD is that if you lose one Game 5, you don't realize it in the moment, but when you lose it, everything could just completely change. Like, imagine you win that winners finals against FaZe, and you're in
Yeah,
the
who
grand
knows?
final. You know what I'm saying? Like,
We would have been on like a winning streak already because I think we won our last league match. Then we beat New York, Optic. We would have beaten FaZe. You're feeling much better. It's just like one of those things. You win that one round, who knows where life takes you at that point.
dude, yeah, someone just said Optic Dynasty World War II. Imagine your dumbass doesn't run through that artillery and we end up winning that
You guys
event.
win the event, yeah.
We probably would have stuck. So you did not break. I heard you say you broke up the dynasty, by the way. It was
Wait, I didn't say that.
no, maybe not you. Somebody said that shit. I don't know who said
Chris
that.
Crowder 1v3'd first. It wasn't me.
Oh shit! So it was Chris.
It was Chris. Blame him.
But those little moments in Call of Duty can have such a lasting impact, and that's why I'm a little bit like, I mean, just flustered about this roster move because I know that you're definitely uncomfortable on the map. From what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, like you had to have been uncomfortable. Like, would you say you were doing the dirty work on the team?
Not really I guess kind of the dirty work, but like the AR-ish dirty work where it's like, okay, you kind of just got to sit here. Like if you watch my arrow or even in like a search and destroy, I would always play in the same spot, which personally I've always been pretty solid at search. And I never really I would go to the same places sometimes, but I just want to be more involved in like the playmaking of a team. But I trusted my teammates and I still do trust them to I would go there and they would go work the other side of the map. They get a blood, get control, and we get bomb out, we win. So I really didn't mind it. As long as the team is winning and doing well, I'll do whatever needs to be done. Or even in I guess control. I actually play those sides of the map where it's you just sit here and you do nothing. Kind of like on Hotel,
Yeah.
B side, or even LSC low B side sometimes. You kind of you'll see those maps where cellium is 10 and 10, or Insight will be 12 and 2, but everyone else will have 10, 15 more engagements, but he's just playing. It's just kind of that a role in this game.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
So I ran the AR for not long. So Zinni can probably talk a little bit more about this than me because he ran AR for much longer. But Like, there would be maps playing control and stuff where you're using an AR and you just really can't get anything going because the rest of the map is just being locked down or you're in shitty spots the whole map. And with an AR, if you're trying to clear close angles, like in control, for instance, on a silo, sometimes it's just impossible. Like, there were maps where I was just getting pissed on in scrims, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Well, there's also maps, so as an AR, right? Like, let's say, I'm going to give you, like, an in-game example and sort of how people will, like, shape their agendas or, like, use whatever they can in the argument. Let's say I have an AR and I'm blocking white on LSC low control. Like, I'm white the entire round. I'm getting in, like, no engagements, but I'm spawning the team back right. On the stat sheet after the match, let's say we lose that series, I'm going to have a significant less amount of engagements than my teammates. And then everybody's looking for a reason. So then everyone starts going, oh, Attach has this many engagements compared to Afro's, but they're looking at strictly the stat sheet and not the actual gameplay. So it's like everybody will always, and I'm not saying this happened here, but everybody is always going to, like, you know, fit their narrative and make their narrative based on what they see after, right? This community loves to community loves to preach that stats don't matter. And then the only thing they talk about is stats. So
yeah. That's all people talk
actually,
about.
That happened to me really bad versus Vegas, and it's just like the funniest thing to actually talk about. Because first map we won, I had like most damage, was frying most kills, and then we played S&D map 2 Mercado. We ended up losing like 6-4. We kind of choked it, and then we 3-0'd them in hotel control. I went like 18-7 because I was just playing the B side of the map where I just hold, I block. You really can't make too many plays only at certain moments, and then. We won that map 3-0. We got slammed on map 4 and then just got slammed map 5 as well. And it was like, dude, look at Attach, just kill horny again. But I fried map 1 and had to sit there in hotel, and we won 3-0 on hotel, which is good. If we clutch up that second map, which we should have probably won, everyone looks like, oh my God, Attach is fried. We 3-0'd them. He has a 1.3 or whatever it is. But since I got slammed map 4, then we lost map 5, I was like, oh no. Attach was still kill whoring, blah, blah, blah. But it's just the funny, like the actual narrative that gets said instead of like, because Crim was on the flank too, and he was like talking about it, but then Parasite's like, nah, like if you watch actual hotel control, the player that plays the B side of the map can't really like do too much.
Yeah.
Like you kind of just have to sit there. Honestly, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's not a fun job, but you kind of just have to do it.
And if nothing's coming to you, that's why like damage I always take with kind of a grain of salt as well when I'm looking at like stats and stuff, because you could just be blocking like bedroom, for instance, and nobody could be wrapping bed. Like maybe one guy wraps bed, and there was one time I saw Scrap sit low bed for like a minute waiting for his team to pinch around P2. And it's like, you're not getting any engagements, but you're making the correct play on the map. So that's why I always kind of take things with a little bit of a grain of salt when it comes into like the damage perspective, especially with an AR. Because subs usually have free reign.
I think this game is a little bit different too when it comes to like even the AR sub dynamic, because in the other games I feel like you could still make plays with the auto in Vanguard or even like Black Ops 4. If you had the Maddox, I guess it's a flex gun, you could still kind of make plays. In this game, there's no such thing as really running around with the tac, because if you get caught sprinting and they have a Vaznev, you're dead. You're pretty much dead every single time unless they absolutely whiff. So
especially with like sound EQ now, we're playing a different game. Yeah. That's why I kind of, so we were all obviously out that one night, and I was talking to all you guys, and I was like, I want to see how you guys perform on LAN, because LAN is a completely different game. You guys got top 3 at Major 2, and sound EQ was a thing in the Major 2 quals, wasn't it? Like towards the end of it?
Yes. I think after Major 1 is when like everyone started finding out about it, because that's when I found out about it, getting back from Major. Everyone's like, oh, there's just setting sound EQ that people have been like using and stuff, and that's when I think everyone really, it got popular.
And so you guys go into Major 2, you guys make a great run. You guys do go 0-5 in Stage 3, which obviously isn't ideal, and then you get LAT in your very first match when your vibes are already low. That's why I kind of wanted to see your full team go through another stage, and this is just, I've been saying this for a while, so don't think that I'm like, I've been saying this. I wanted to see you guys with a little bit of break, like have a nice break, a nice week off for practice. Because once you're in the stage, you're in the stage. There's no, there's no like chopping it up. You're full on into it, and there's no room to really breathe. You can't really catch your footing. Yeah,
you're really locked in with scrims every single day, and then it's just you got the matches, and you got to go and perform in the matches, and I guess your feelings or how you feel good or bad is like dictated by those matches. If you win 2, you're like, oh my God, we can do no wrong. You lose 2, you're like, okay, something has to give.
100%. And
But it is stressful.
the first two matches are Florida and LAG for MN now, and it's like, I'm confident that you guys could make a bounce back with that start in the major. You know.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
I
it's
expect the team to beat them for sure. I think they have a very good chance of going 2-0, especially with like the home crowd on their side. If there's a time to just win 2 matches versus like I guess the lower seeded teams, home crowd on your side, so they're gonna be getting booed while every kill you get, you're getting cheered for. I expect them to like be able to close those matches out for